top 3 in every category, part 3. Part 1 was about base products, skin tints, foundations, correctors, and concealers. Last week was part 2, color complexion products, blush, bronzer, highlighter, and powder. And today, part 3, is all about the eyes, brows, liners, mascaras, and of course, eyeshadow. But before we get into it, I do have a life update. After spending the last several summers visiting my cousins in upstate New York, including this summer, I was there for pretty close to 6 weeks. I finally decided to take the plunge and move there. The area I'm moving to is absolutely gorgeous. It's the Catskills, so there are rivers and streams and mountains, lots and lots of outdoor activities. The climate is a bit milder than Minnesota. I'm in zone 4, if you're a gardener, zone 4 right now, and the area I'm moving to is zone 6. So it is a little bit milder, but you still have a beautiful change of seasons. The town I am moving to is a tiny, quaint, historic town right on the Hudson River, not far from Woodstock. And it's only a 2-hour train ride from New York City. I do have some family in the area, not only my cousins, but my brother and my sister live just a couple of hours away, and I have met so many great people over these past few years. It is bittersweet saying goodbye to my tiny cottage and my beautiful gardens, not to mention my Minnesota family and friends, but I am really excited for this new adventure. I am also a little overwhelmed and incredibly busy packing. Bosley and I hit the road for New York a week from today, so I just wanted to let you know I probably will not have a video posted Sunday, September 3rd. I will be back to my regular posting schedule Sunday, September 10th. I know some of you were a little worried last week when I was really late with Sunday's video, but I do want to remind you, I always try to post a community update on my community page on my homepage of YouTube if I'm going to be late for a video or if I'm going to miss a video, and I also try to post sale notifications there. Now YouTube has finally made the community page available on iPad, so I do think the community page is available across all devices. YouTube does not do a very good job sharing community post updates, so you might need to check in there periodically, especially if I am late for a video. That way you won't worry. Anyway, the community page is really easy to find. You just go to my YouTube homepage. There are tabs across the top. Just click on community and you will see any of my community post updates. One more thing and then we'll get into it. As always, all the products I'm talking about today, all the products I have on my face will be listed and linked in the description box below. I am also using this new YouTube shopping feature, which makes it easier for you to view products as you're watching the video. Many of these links are affiliate, which means that if you do shop my links, I may earn a small commission at no cost to you. Absolutely no pressure. But if you do choose to use my links, I thank you. It really does help support my channel and I very much appreciate it. Starting with brows. Not the most exciting category, and I really don't like spending a lot of money on brow products. My cousin in New York turned me on to this one, and I think I may have found the one. And it is the NYX Professional Makeup Eyebrow Powder Pencil in the shade Taupe. It is the perfect shade for me, just a nice neutral taupe. And the texture is really nice, not too hard, not too soft. It goes on very nicely, very long lasting, very affordable. I love it. I am a huge fan of tinted brow gels. They're so easy. Many days that's all I will use. And I have tried quite a few. e.l.f. Wow Brow, CoverGirl, Kosas. And while they are all okay, I'm still on the hunt for the perfect brow gel. Something that will tint with the right shade, volumize, and hold my unruly brows in place for that fluffy brow look. Currently, I am using NYX Thick It Stick It. And while the shade Taupe is perfect, and I do enjoy the way it tints and volumizes, it doesn't have quite enough hold. And I really do wish that the wand was a little bit smaller. But this is working okay for me right now. If you have found the perfect brow gel, please share it in the comment box. I tightline my upper lash line pretty close to every day. I really enjoy how it gives my eyes definition without weighing my eyes down with heavy eyeliner, and I love the way it makes my eyelashes look thicker. I have a whole video on tightlining which I will link in the cards and in the description box below. But once I find a product that works for me, I tend to stick with it. So I only have one product to share with you, although I do have it in 3 shades, brown, gray, and navy blue, and that is the L'Oreal Infallible Gel 36-Hour Mechanical Liner. It is a wind-up liner, like I said, brown, gray. I'll list all the shades below. What I love about this is it's so smooth. It glides on without any pulling or tugging, yet it is super long-lasting on my waterline anyway. Now my friend Kiki, who has the channel The Hooded Lid, swears by the Hourglass eyeliner on her tightline. One of these days I need to try that, but for now, the L'Oreal is perfect for me. As far as eyeliner for around the eye, upper lash line, lower lash line, I have never gotten the hang of liquid eyeliner, so I don't own a single one. I just find pencils so much easier to use. Now the L'Oreal Infallible Gel Liner that I just shared with you works really nicely on the upper lash line as well as the tight line, but those shades are just a little bit too deep for my lower lash line. I really like a lighter tone on my lower lash line, and my favorite is the Sephora Collection, oh my gosh, the name, Retractable Waterproof Eye Pencil in the shade Shimmer Taupe. This is the perfect neutral, not too dark, not too light for my lower lash line, and I also use it on the upper lash line. So there is the L'Oreal in the dark brown, and here is the Shimmer Taupe. Oh, gosh, I think this is running out. I think you can see how much lighter the Shimmer Taupe is than the L'Oreal brown. It is perfect for my lower lash line. I also put it on my upper lash line sometimes. It goes with every single eyeshadow I wear, and it's very, very affordable. It is $13 full price, but during the Sephora sale, it is usually 30% off, making this drugstore pricing. I have purchased this more times than I can count. I always have a backup. I love it. I have tried so many different eyelash primers over the years, everything from luxury, high-end, down to the drugstore. And I always come back to the classic L'Oreal Voluminous Eyelash Primer. This really does make a difference to add extra length, extra volume. It works under any mascara. It's very affordable. This cannot be beat. Speaking of eyelashes, I have been using and loving Revitalash Eyelash Growth Serum for the past several years. It has given me incredible length and volume, and I absolutely love it. However, I forgot to bring it with me to New York, and I was in New York for 6 weeks, so it has been about 2 months since I've used my Revitalash, and I can definitely see I'm losing length and volume. Anyway, I thought now might be a good time to do an experiment. My friend Claudia Glows did a video on the amazing results she is achieving using Revive Lash. This is a non-prostaglandin eyelash growth serum. So I thought it's a great time for an experiment. So I am using a brand new Revitalash on my right eyelashes and a brand new Revive Lash on my left eyelashes, because I know many of you are a little concerned about the prostaglandins. I haven't had any negative side effects, but I know many people are concerned about it. So I'm going to do a side-by-side. We will see in a month or two. Now, this is a little bit more affordable than the Revitalash, but it's still a little bit on the pricey side. Anyway, I'm really excited to see in a month or two the results. Revitalash versus Revive Lash. I will link Claudia's video in the description box below because she really did get incredible results from this eyelash serum. I was interrupted the other day as I was filming this video, so you will notice a change in lighting, and thank goodness it is much, much cooler out. Anyway, moving on to my top 3 mascaras. I love all 3 of the mascaras I'm about to share with you for different reasons, but they all have these things in common. They don't flake, they don't clump, and they are all super affordable from the drugstore. The mascara I have been using the longest, the mascara I have consistently repurchased for at least 15 years, is the classic L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara. This gives incredible length and volume, almost a false lash effect, especially when combined with the primer. It has your basic wand, not too big, not too small. This is a good one, and I always have it on hand. Newer to me in the past year, but I do think I have repurchased this 2 or 3 times, is the Maybelline Sky High Lash Sensational. You know, I used to avoid the rubber wands because they always seem to poke me in the eye. But this wand has just the right amount of flexibility to not poke me in the eye, but it does a beautiful job separating my lashes, and it is small enough to grab every tiny lash. It does a very nice job lengthening and volumizing. Not quite the false lash effect that I can get from L'Oreal, but I don't want a false lash effect every day, so I have been very much enjoying Maybelline Sky High Lash Sensational. And lastly is Essence, and this is the most affordable. Now, Essence makes so many mascaras, and I have tried quite a few of them that did not work for me. One that does work for me is the Essence Lash Princess Volume, the one with the pink writing. Again, I really do enjoy the small curved wand, although it's more of a classic brush. It gets every single eyelash, and I tend to use this when I want more of a natural fluffy lash effect. It does give length, a little bit of volume, but it gives me a really pretty natural fluffy lash effect. One more mascara I almost forgot to share with you, and this is a slightly different category. Generally speaking, I don't wear mascara on my lower lashes, but if I ever do want to use mascara on my lower lashes, I will always reach for a tubing mascara, and the one I have for my lower lashes is the MAC Gigabyte. I can't read the name. It has the teeniest, tiniest wand, perfect for the lower lashes, and because it is a tubing mascara, it will not give raccoon eyes. So shout out to MAC Gigabyte Tubing Mascara for my lower eyelashes. Moving on to eyeshadow primer. You know, my eyelids are not oily, and eyeshadow does tend to last fairly well on my eyelids. My main issue is discoloration, and for many years I just used a concealer as an eyeshadow primer, and I still do many days. But I have discovered the benefits of eyeshadow primers, and I have a few to share with you. First up, we have Sigma Eyeshadow Priming Stick. They do offer this in several shades. I have it in the shade Persuade, and it is a wind-up crayon. And the shade Persuade is just a really nice sort of peachy, fleshy toned that does a really nice job covering up any pigmentation. It really does help the eyeshadow shades pop. I've been really enjoying this. Now, Sigma does make it in a variety of shades, but the shade Persuade works perfectly for me. Another one I have been very much enjoying is one by Alter Ego. Now, this is more of a cream formula. It does come with a doe foot applicator. It doesn't have quite as much coverage as the Sigma, but it still helps my eyeshadow colors pop, and it is another good one. And lastly, we have the classic MAC Paint Pot, which is actually a cream eyeshadow, but many people use it as an eyeshadow primer. I have it in the shade Painterly, and this is a cream, and this is especially good if you have oily eyelids, which I do not, but I still enjoy this product. MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. Many days I just go for a fast and easy one and done eyeshadow, including today. We'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, here are my favorite one and done eyeshadows, starting with eyeshadow crayons. You know, both Laura Mercier and Bobbi Brown make excellent eyeshadow crayons in a variety of shades, and I have several, but one of my favorites is this little mini from Bobbi Brown called Soho Glow. Really great value. I think I paid $29 for this, and it is a $59 value. Anyway, like I said, 3 shades. They are all minis. I will quickly swatch these for you because I think they're permanent shades. That is Golden Pink, and then we have Dusty Mauve. All of these have a little bit of a satin sheen, but not too glittery. They're super pretty on mature eyes. And Golden Bronze. These can be used alone, together. They're super long lasting. They're really, really easy, and I love my little Soho Glow. You know, I think this might be limited edition, but both Bobbi Brown and Laura Mercier periodically come out with these little trios of minis. So keep your eyes out for it because the full size would take forever to use. Once again, I am a huge fan of minis. A favorite from the drugstore are these little Revlon Color Stay Cream Eyeshadow Pots. I have it in 2 shades. I have it in Black Currant, which is such a pretty shade. There is the Black Currant. Actually, it's sort of drying out a little tiny bit. Black Currant. And I also have it in the shade Praline. Praline. Again, cream, now this one is bone dry. That is one of the problems with cream eyeshadows, especially from the drugstore, is they really do tend to dry out. That is Praline. I don't even know if I can, yeah, that's not going to show up. Now, I have had these for a couple of years. This one is completely dried out. This one, the Black Currant, is still okay, but it is showing signs of age. As much as I love these, I'm really not sure if I'm actually going to repurchase these, and here's why. My all-time favorite and most used is the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize Cream Eyeshadow. Now this is more of a mousse, and I actually purchased the Charlotte Tilbury a couple of years ago at about the same time I purchased the Revlon, and this is still going strong. It is more of a mousse. I have it in the shade Oyster Pearl, which is a perfect satiny taupe. It is what I'm wearing today. It is super long lasting. So yes, the Revlon is quite a bit less expensive than the Charlotte Tilbury, but I think because this is lasting so much longer, I think the Charlotte Tilbury is actually a better deal. I can't call these favorites yet, but I do have a special shout out to Merit Beauty. I love so many of their products. Their blush, their bronzer, their lipsticks. But they didn't have any eyeshadows until a week ago when they released their new Merit Beauty Cream Eyeshadows. I have 2, and like I said, it's too early to call them favorites, but these are cream to powder eyeshadows. And I have it in 2 shades. I am going to swatch these for you. I have it in the shade Social, which is this really pretty mauve. These are matte cream to powder eyeshadows, and they come in these nice little pots, and they lock in place. And then I have it in the shade Vachetta, I believe, which is a medium brown. The consistency is incredibly creamy. And there is Vachetta. I don't want to put this on. I've already done that. So there is Vachetta, there is the Social, there is Vachetta. The thing about these eyeshadows is they do not budge. I put the swatch on about a half an hour ago. You can almost not wash it off. It does come off from your eyes if you use a cleansing balm or a cleansing oil or a micellar water. But once you apply these to your eyes, they do not budge. But like I said, it is too early to call these favorites, but I'm having a lot of fun playing with them, and I really want to pick up some other colors. Last category is, of course, eyeshadow palettes. And oh my gosh, I have such a weakness for eyeshadow palettes. I love looking at them, touching them, playing with them, and I have so many that I absolutely adore. It is virtually impossible for me to choose 3 favorites. So what I am going to do today is I'm going to share my 3 most used eyeshadow palettes, and then I will share some of my favorite eyeshadow formulas and brands with a favorite from each. My top 3 most used eyeshadow palettes. Now these may not be the most exciting eyeshadow palettes, but these are all super reliable, very easy palettes that I would never want to be without. These are the palettes I tend to reach for on a daily basis, and these are the palettes that I am most likely to travel with, starting with my Persona Identity palette. This is such a fantastic neutral eyeshadow palette. It has 7 mattes and 5 shimmers. It is fairly neutral. There is one sort of warm shade that I really don't get much use out of. I love when a palette has a cream colored matte, which I find really useful for blending. The shimmers are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Really smooth, gorgeous on mature eyes, never accentuate texture. This formula is perfection. There is never any fallout. The mattes are very blendable. The shimmers are buttery smooth. You can see how well loved this palette is. I absolutely love it. And when I pan this palette, I will absolutely repurchase it. Next up is another iconic classic, the Tarte Tartelette in Bloom. I have loved this eyeshadow palette for years. This is the only eyeshadow palette I have completely used up and actually repurchased, so this is actually my second one. It is 12 pans, mostly matte. It only has 3 very soft satiny shimmers, gorgeous on mature eyes. I really enjoy the range of tones, light, medium, and deep, and it is mostly neutral with some that are a little bit more pink, some that are a little bit more warm. This is not overly pigmented, which does make it very beginner friendly. It is fantastic on mature eyes. The Tarte Tartelette in Bloom is an iconic classic for very good reason. On the more affordable side, I have the Wet n Wild Always Naked. This is for sure my #1 most favorite drugstore eyeshadow palette. It is 16 pans, nice mix of mattes and shimmers, good range of intensities, light, medium, and deep. It is very neutral. We have some slightly warmer neutrals over here, some slightly cooler neutrals over here. You know, I'm not going to be able to swatch all these eyeshadows, but this formula is shockingly good, especially for the price. I found this palette for under $10 at Walgreens. Here are the shimmers, and here are the mattes. Amazing quality, amazing price. The only thing I really don't like is the incredibly cheap packaging that fell apart almost immediately, but for such an incredible, affordable eyeshadow palette, I will deal with it. As far as my favorite brands and formulas, let's start with my top 3 affordable formulas. Of course, I have to talk about ColourPop. They are so well known for very high quality formulas at an incredibly affordable price. Their mattes are pigmented and blendable, and their shimmers range from the softest satin to metallic to glitter. They have such a huge selection. They have quads, they have 9 pans, 12 pans, but my favorite ColourPop palette is the Stone Cold Fox. Now, I usually don't really prefer a huge palette. It can be very, very overwhelming, but this palette is so well laid out. You simply go down the column and you have your look. And this is really a beautiful, cool, neutral palette. We have some taupes, we have some pinks, we have some browns, we have some mauves. I have had this for the past several years and it is still a favorite. ColourPop Stone Cold Fox. Now, I feel like this video is starting to run a little bit long. I do not have time to swatch everything, but for the most part, most of the palettes that I'm sharing with you today, I do have a dedicated video showing swatches and a look. If so, I will link it below. Another high quality and very affordable brand is a brand called Alter Ego. Now, Alter Ego is an independent, online-only company that specializes in creating palettes inspired by luxury palettes such as Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath at a fraction of the price, $20 versus $60+. I was super impressed how close Alter Ego came to duping the Natasha Denona Glam palette. Now these are arranged a little bit differently. Here is the Natasha Denona Glam, and here is the Alter Ego Shadow Kiss. I hope I have that right. Yeah, Glam versus Shadow Kiss. Now again, I'm not going to swatch these right now. I do have a whole video with side-by-side swatches, and I think some looks. They also really did a great job duping Natasha Denona Retro, but I don't have that one here to show you right now. Anyway, Alter Ego makes very high quality eyeshadow palettes based on very luxurious palettes. A couple of months ago, Alter Ego sent me their Midsummer palette, which was inspired by the Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau palette. Now, I never had time to do an actual video on this, so I do want to show you these two palettes side by side. Here is the ABH, here is the Alter Ego. And again, they are arranged differently, and the Alter Ego palettes are a little bit smaller. But I actually think I prefer the Alter Ego formula over the ABH. It's just a little bit less powdery and a little bit easier to deal with. So if you have a luxury palette that you don't want to spend luxury dollars, go on the Alter Ego website. They have so many eyeshadow palettes, and I do have a 10% discount code. My top 3 luxury brands in no particular order. None of these brands are ranked. We will start with Sigma. I love that Sigma is a female-owned local Minneapolis company. They are very well known for their high quality makeup brushes, but they have tons of eyeshadow palettes, and I love the formula. They have 14 pans and 7 pans and 9 pans, and they just released some quads, but my favorite Sigma eyeshadow palette is the new Mod palette. I have had this for about a year. All the 14 pan palettes come with a Sigma brush. Oh, look how reflective it is. You can see how well used and loved this eyeshadow palette is. I do have a dedicated video demonstrating this in action. This is the palette I wore on my eyes for the past 2 weeks. Many of you complimented my eye look. I will show you the colors that I used. I simply used this in the transition, this on the lid, and this in the outer corner. Those 3 shades gave me a really pretty neutral, cool neutral eyeshadow look. Anyway, Sigma New Mod is my favorite palette from Sigma. However, they recently released a new set of neutral quads, and I love a good quad. So I immediately ordered 2 of the new neutral quads. One is called Tiramisu, a very nice, cool neutral quad. And one is called Caramel Apple. The greens just really inspired me. I haven't tried these yet, but no sooner did I receive these, the very next day, Sigma did send me in PR their entire quad collection. Came in this really nice box, and I haven't even played with it yet. Really nice neutral quads. Now, I have duplicates, so I am going to save some of my duplicates for an upcoming giveaway. I'm getting surprisingly close to 100,000 subscribers. When I get there, I will be hosting a really nice giveaway, and some of these will be in there anyway. I can't wait to play with these. These are not a favorite yet, but I love Sigma. I love the Sigma formula, and I do have a discount code in the description box below. Another high-end brand with exceptional quality is Sydney Grace. Now, Sydney Grace is another female-owned, independent, online-only company. Over the years, I have collected some of their single mattes and single shimmers. The formula is superb. But a few months ago, I tried my first Sydney Grace eyeshadow palette. I think it is so cool that Sydney Grace partnered with Mary Glitzy Fritzy, a mature beauty YouTuber, to create this beautiful, blessed eyeshadow palette. Absolutely gorgeous. I have a whole video on it. This is Sydney Grace with Mary Glitzy Fritzy. You know, I really do want to try some more of their eyeshadow palettes. The formula is fantastic. I'm not sure if I have a discount code. I know Mary has a discount code. I will link Mary's video in the description box below because she showed this palette in action with multiple different looks. Sydney Grace, fabulous company, fabulous formula, fabulous palette. And of course we have Natasha Denona. Amazing quality, super luxury price tag. I am pretty selective in which palettes I purchase. I actually haven't purchased one of her palettes in a couple of years. I only have 2 midis. I have, of course, the Natasha Denona Glam. Love this cool neutral eyeshadow palette, which Alter Ego did a pretty darn good job duping. And I have the Natasha Denona Retro. What I love about these 2 palettes together is that they're really great partners. We have cool neutrals, taupes, and grays, and then some pinks and plums and mauves. I love both of these palettes. Of course, I purchased them on sale. I also have only one mini, and it's the Natasha Denona Glam Mini. Interestingly enough, I tend to reach for this little mini even more than I do the full size. Now, like I said, I haven't purchased a Natasha Denona palette in the last couple of years. I think she's had 3 palettes that I did not purchase. Having said that, she just came out with the new I Need a Nude. I knew instantly I had to have that palette. I ordered it. It's not here yet. I cannot wait for it to arrive. It just looks perfect for me. Light, cool neutrals. I cannot wait to try. I think we covered all about the eyes. Please share your favorites in the comment box and stay tuned for top 3 lip products coming up in the next few weeks. And remember, I probably will not have a video posting Sunday, September 3rd. Bosley and I will just be arriving in upstate New York. Keep your eye on the community page. And with that, have yourself a great week, a great holiday, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you.